Hey, and how's it going, everyone? My name is Pete, and today I'm going to show you how to make a snake enclosure on a budget. Now, the first thing you're going to need is a bin, around 15 to 16 quarts. Now, with the bin that you choose, you want to ensure that the side of the bin has latches, that way you can lock the lid into place to prevent the snake from escaping. Now, the next thing you're going to need is a drill and some drill bits. You can use a knife, however, it's going to be a lot more faster and efficient if you use a drill with drill bits to drill the holes in. The reason you want to drill the holes in is so that way airflow can flow through the top of the bin as well as through the side of the bin, because without the airflow, your snake will suffocate. The next thing you're going to want to do is take your drill and drill bit and start drilling into the lid. You want to ensure that the drill bit that you choose is not too big, that way your snake cannot slither through. Once you are finished drilling, the top of your lid should look a little something like this. Once you are finished drilling the holes in the lid, the next thing you want to do is drill holes in the side of the bin. Once you are finished drilling the holes in the lid and the side of the bin, your enclosure should look a little something like this. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a damp paper towel to clean the inside and outside of the enclosure. For this, you're just going to want to use water straight from the tap and avoid any sort of household cleaning solutions, as those can cause harm to your snake. The next thing you're going to want to do is attach the heater to the bottom of the enclosure like so. After you finish installing the heat mat to the bottom of the enclosure, you're going to want to take the probe of the thermostat and attach it above the heat mat like so. Thermostats are an absolute necessity if you're using any sort of heat mat, as they regulate the temperature of the heat mat, because without a thermostat, your heat mat cannot regulate the temperature and can burn the bottom of your snake. Once you are finished installing the heat mat and thermostat, the next thing you're going to want to do is put in the bedding. I personally like to use Med Aspen Bedding because it holds the shape of the burrows that the snake likes to make very well. Once you are finished adding in the bedding, the next thing you want to do is add in the hides. You're going to want one hide on the warm end of the enclosure and one hide on the cool end of the enclosure. That way your snake can feel secure and thermoregulate as needed. Thermoregulation is the process of maintaining internal body temperature. Because snakes are cold-blooded, they cannot do this naturally themselves, which is why we need to provide a heat gradient where one side of the enclosure is warmer than the opposite side. Once you are finished adding in the hides, you're going to want to add in a water dish. You're going to want a water dish that's just deep enough for the snake to occasionally soak in. Lastly, you can add in any sort of decorations to the enclosure. I'm just adding in plastic plants that I got at the dollar store to give the snake a little bit more cover, as most snakes do not feel safe in open spaces. Once you are finished setting up the enclosure, it should look a little something like this. Generally, you're going to want to have your enclosure set up for a few days before you add in your new snake. That way you can ensure that all the equipment is working properly. In my case, the equipment was already on a previous enclosure for my snake, but she outgrew the enclosure that she was originally in. Once your enclosure has been up and running for a few days, it is time to add in your snake. The snake I'm adding into this enclosure is a Chesapeake chain king snake. Her name is Daphne, and she's currently eating frozen thawed fuzzy mice. She just recently shed and has moved on from day-old pinky mice. I'm still working on her with handling, but whenever I take her out of her enclosure, she likes to shake her tail like a rattlesnake. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. If you're also interested in any of the items that I've used in this video, all links are in the description down below as well. Please feel free to like and subscribe, as I have new videos coming out very soon.